In this video, I want to cover global searches, how you find records in your database, and grids, how to work with grids. They're prevalent, they're throughout the application, they work very much the same way, and they are super powerful. So here we are on the home screen, and if we look at the header bar here, we have the global search. And I can pretty much enter anything I want in here. So put in my last name, and I get any accounts that match my last name, which is great. It's a fuzzy search, so I can do partial searches. And depending on how I enter the information and how much information I enter, it will obviously bring me back more or less records that match up. It'll search on a great number of things in all the records it's searching for. So if I enter my email address, for instance, it should be able to pull back that account no problem. It also does partial search. So if I just type in Gmail, it'll grab me all of the accounts that have Gmail within the email. So again, displaying that fuzzy search characteristic. And phone numbers are pretty nifty in that they ignore formatting of any type. So we'll actually search on the raw digits and partial search. So if I just do the 7 digits, I'm going to come up with the records that match, and I can actually do the last 4 and pull up a handful of records. In this case, what do we get, like 6 or 7 accounts that match 3 orders and 1 site. And so good point here is that the global search searches across your entire database, and it focuses on accounts, orders, sites, and payments. So finding those things within the global search should be relatively easy. So let's search for an address here. And you'll notice that it brought back an account record and the site is Let's jump into an account here and see what's going on. You can see the billing address here is 4204 Meridian. So why did it pull up 3800 Taylor? Well, if we go to our sites tab, we'll see that this record has indeed more than 1 site, and one of them is the Taylor Avenue site. So when you're searching here, it does do a deep dive into your account record to see if it can find a match to what you're looking for. Like I said, it does orders as well. And so if I enter in an order number, I will get the order in question, assuming I have the number. And it does payment and orders based off amount. So here we have an invoice for $108.55 with a corresponding payment. So pretty simple. The global search is a powerful tool. It's fuzzy, does a handful of records, and should bring you back if you're looking for some detailed account within the system. All right, so let's talk about grids. So grids are everywhere, right? So here we are at the accounts list, and here we are at the orders list, and I can get a grid that's just estimates. You see where I'm going here, right? It gets pretty extensive. I go to marketing campaigns. They all display in the same type of grid. Let's jump back the account grid here and break this down. Some grids will have a sidecar, some won't. And when you do have a sidecar, you can literally just kind of scroll through the list, either by clicking on the grid record itself or using your arrow keys. And you can see over here on the right the information display. So it gives you a nice peekaboo into the record itself. We're just going to go ahead and close this for now so we can get some more space here. Now, the grid is broken up into several areas. You have your header at the top, you have your content area where the records will be displayed, and you have your grid footer. The grid footer controls how many records are displayed at one time, and then any of the paging capabilities that you have. So moving from one record or at the beginning to the end of the list, as well as into a specific page. The headers on top of the content area tell you what the information is, and the reason why we've got the account last name and not just last name is because it can get confusing giving how many columns you have available to you depending on the grid. Some grids are more customizable than others. The accounts grid and the order grid is super customizable, and I can add any number of fields here like invoice, balance due, and last invoice. So if I click apply, you'll see these 2 new fields come up, order balance and order invoice. If I click on balance due, maybe sort, right? Oh, we've got some credits in the system. And if I sort the other way, here we go with balance due. So Pretty cool. Again, very flexible. You can do a lot with it. You can create your own lists, essentially, and slices of your accounts and view different information depending on your task or workflow. All right, the top part here, this header, is what you're going to be interacting with the majority of the time. So we've got the search capability, and if we just type in Kowalski, we should pull up those same 4 records that were pulled up in the global search. If I click the clear button, it's going to clear the search and reset the grid for me. I also have this drop-down list here that gives me different ways to look at my data, in this case the account data. So I've got new accounts, which can be defined by anybody that's been entered in the system in the last 30 days. Customer accounts, where the account type is actually of type customer. Prospect accounts, where the account type is of prospect. And we give you a couple different types of account filters, or what we call data views, within this list. But you can also create your own. So I can click here, View Filter, and let's say we're just going to create a VIP client list. I'm not going to go over the filters too in depth. I'll do a more advanced video on that. Just know that this is capable. So let's say we take our last order amount and we want it to be greater than $500 for our VIP clients. We'll hit OK, and now the grid should refresh. I've got VIP, and now I've got a list of my clients. If I come over here and add, let's say, the last invoice amount, where are you, little squirrely guy? Last invoice amount, and apply it, and you can see indeed all of these are going to be over $500 based off that filter. So very powerful, very, very powerful. You can create all kinds of custom lists and then even sort within those lists. I don't think I'm going to be in here. I'm not, obviously. Haven't done any orders within this database. Now remember, I said clear will clear the search and bring us back to a state of the grid. But notice how it didn't clear this here. If I hit reset, then the grid clears back to its default position. Your grids will also have an export feature. So clicking on this button here will actually create a Excel spreadsheet or comma delimited file for you to download and then use however you like. And there they are, the records within that particular grid or query.